As well as the governor. Good morning, gentlemen of the press. I'm sure that some people will not think we'll start that way. But this is the People's Democratic Party. We are irrepressive, we are undoubting. We have been through these routes again and again, and we always come out victorious. For every onlooker in the face of oppression is either a coward or a traitor. And I can tell you free of charge that all the men who are seated here are neither cowards, neither are they traitors. For us, another phase has begun, because if you are aware, in the past 3 weeks, a great injustice was done, not to the People's Democratic Party, but to members of Edo State, because we freely came out under the rain, under the sun, to vote for our preferred choice. And Edo people made it loud when they voted the People's Democratic Party, represented in the person of Aswe Godalo and Osaradio Egi. But like they say, while men slept, in the manner of speaking, evil people went to sow tares in the midst of the wheat. But like Jesus Christ says, let the thing be growing. After a while, the tares will stop at some stage, and then the wheat will grow. And that is because between the journey of truth and falsehood, truth always runs slower than falsehood, but further than falsehood. So in the final analysis, in another 6 months, 10 months, I'm sure that truth will overtake falsehood that the evildoers have done on the 21st of September. For us, it is sunset at noon, but in the final analysis, it will be sunrise at last. It's at this point that the People's Democratic Party thought to put pay to some of the lies of the people of the All Progressive Congress, who have actually honed their skills in lying to the people. Like the popular cliche says, you can deceive some people sometimes, you can deceive some people, you can deceive all the people sometimes, you can deceive some people all the time, or you'll never be able to deceive all the people all the time. So this is the leadership of the People's Democratic Party, headed by our very able chairman, and the leadership of the campaign council, headed by our very ebullient and courageous Director General. This press conference about issues, development so far, and they will let the cat out of the bag. It's at this point that I would like to honorable invite to the microphone and hand over to him, the chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Honorable Tony Achebe. Good morning, sir.
Thank you so much, Reverend Ulu Martins. No, you have a way of always trying to push somebody's psyche. Thank you. Members of the State Working Committee here present, the Director General of the Aswe Ogie Campaign Council, members of the Edo State Governorship Campaign Council here present, my GOCs, the party chairmen of the various local governments here present, other party leaders, ladies and gentlemen. Today, it is an honor and privilege to welcome you to the Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party of Edo State to this press briefing. We know that many of you, and indeed many Edolites, will have been wondering why we are not engaging, why we have not spoken out since we were collectively violated on the 22nd of September this year. On that day, which we have christened the darkest day in Edo's history, the votes of Edo people were discarded. It was as if it doesn't matter how you vote, we will do what we need to do, and you can now go to court if you want to go to court. The stealing of your money that day, fellow Edolites, and your right to freely choose who will govern you in the next 4 years, after the spectacular performance of our amiable Governor Godwin Obaseki was spectacularly truncated on the 22nd of September with a declaration that does not reflect your wish and your choice of who will govern you in the next 4 years. On behalf of the People's Democratic Party, I wish to thank all Edolites. In fact, this appreciation is so deep in us. Because in spite of the militarization of the place, in spite of the intimidation, in spite of the arrest, in spite of the financial inducement, you all came out, in spite of the weather, you all came out that day and voted overwhelmingly for the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Asue Ighodalo. Everything was going on smoothly till about 9 p.m. when the unthinkable started happening. And we had always said before that we're hearing that such things happen, but in Edo it will never happen. We are here to tell you, Edo people, that the journey to reclaim your mandate has begun. We have filed a petition before the Edo State Governorship Election Tribunal. Because we have filed a petition, I will not be able to give you details of what is contained therein. We've decided that the lawyers will be briefing you from time to time on the legal aspect of that petition. But I will just give you a snippet of what we've done. Against all odds, that petition was not supposed to be filed on time. Not the INEC, not the APC wanted us to file on time. And yet, we overcame those hurdles, and I can tell you that we have filed, and by the grace of Almighty God, your mandate, which you freely gave to the PDP, will be reclaimed. You know, when things happen, people will react differently. For us in the PDP, we stepped back and went looking at the trajectory of what happened on that day. And I can confidently tell you, dear Edolites, that we have put a finger on where the problem is, and the election tribunal will surely give us our mandate back. Secondly, the APC and its chairman has been peddling blatant lies as we were busy gathering evidence. And we thought that it's good to put a hold to that, put a stop to that. No, we can't guarantee that they will stop lying, because lying and the APC seem to be twins. Lie number one, that the PDP is disrupting the inspection of materials in INEC. Now, the PDP was a party that went to court and got an enrolled order to inspect all the materials used for the elections. Now, any reasonable human being will say, in whose interest will disrupting that process be? Can it be in terms of the PDP that went to court to get the enrollment order? I mean, you see, some of this, when they lie at times, they don't even think through. And it's demeaning of an ego person. We went to court, got an enrollment order, an enrolled order. Why would we be disrupting that process? Secondly, the APC, led by Jared Tenebe, were the ones at the INEC premises stealing the phones and monies of the POS workers in that premises during those days, and they were the ones trying to disrupt the process. Because it is in their interest to disrupt the inspection of those materials. And the question is, if you said you won, why are you afraid for the other parties to see what happened? Is it not common sense to say, if I won, why should I be afraid for anybody to see how I won? For me, for us as a party, we think it's a pointer to the fact that the APC never won this election. There was no chance in hell for them to win this election. And if not for the connivance of the INEC, which will have christened the political wing of the APC, and the police, which will have christened the armed wing of the APC, and the INEC and the APC itself, APC didn't have a chance of winning that election. Still on INEC, on the 24th of September, I penned a memo to the national headquarters of INEC, where I premised that memo on the provision of the Electoral Act, Section 65(1)(c), which talks about the powers of INEC to review results within a week after declaration. The speed with which they replied is so suspicious. And I was being looked for all over the place as if they were going to give me one award. But the reply will interest you. That provision says INEC has within 7 days to review a declaration made in case the presiding officer or whoever made the declaration or the returning officer, the declaration was made not in error, maybe not made voluntarily, or not in line with the provisions of the Electoral Act and the manuals that guides the elections. Because in that memo, I did argue that declaration they made on the 22nd is not in line with the Electoral Act and the guidelines as issued by INEC. You know what they said? They said that provision, in their reply to me or to the party, they said that declaration, that section of the Electoral Act is for internal purposes only. It's not for outsiders, candidates or parties to use, to ask them to review the declarations already made by returning officers. That, as far as we are concerned, is so absurd, and we can't place where INEC is coming from. But again, because of what they did with APC and the police on the 22nd, you cannot put anything beyond INEC. You will also recall that before the elections, we told you that most of our members were being arrested by a special unit from Abuja. It might interest you to know that most of those guys have been released. But do you know how they were released? At the last count, cumulatively, they paid about 64 million as bail. I thought the said bill was free. That was why I said during the stakeholders meeting that this IGP is the most biased IGP in the annals of our history. And as we speak, they are still planning to arrest more of our members just to make sure that we don't get together to pursue our case in court. So, we've also taken a decision that we'll be briefing you on a weekly basis, myself and the DG, so that you'll be in the know on happenings in the cause, in the political scene as we get along this period till victory, till our mandate is returned to us. We'll be having a weekly briefing here to let you into what we are doing and how we are doing it. It's on that note, and on behalf of all of us from this end, to say thank you so much, members of the press. You've been wonderful, you've been gracious to us, and may God bless the works of our hands. Thank you. Yeah, may I now hand over the microphone to the Director General of the Campaign Council, R.O. Oduma of the Universe, Matthew.
As the chairman, distinguished party leaders, gentlemen of the press. Okay, I'm about to sit down. First, chairman, I want to appreciate you for a well thought out press statement. And as a campaign council, one to join the chairman in appreciating the people of Edo State who, despite all the intimidations, financial inducements, name it, came from far and near to cast their votes on that day. The beauty of democracy is the fact that it allows everybody to have a say as to who should lead them at any point in time. That constitutional right of every Edo citizen cannot be denied us. And that is the reason why we have taken this very step which we have taken by following up. If you will all recall, I was on Channels Television on the 20th. And I remember when the journalist asked me, because I expressed some fears. And I said, there is no doubt that Aswe Ighodalo will win the election fair and square. But should the unthinkable happen, we know that the leader of the APC is a product of agitation and the courts of the land. I also said that day that we will not rest on our hours. We will take this matter to the conclusive end where the wishes of Edo people as expressed through the ballot papers on that day is materialized. We are not a desperate political party seeking power. We are the people that believe that democracy is and has always been defined as the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Edo people will determine who governs them. And they have expressed that freely. Like the state chairman said, we are not going to be saying a lot of things so that it doesn't become a sub judice, because these issues are already before a proper tribunal so set up for the purposes of this election. I want to assure our party members that the mandate freely given to Aswe Yodalo and Osadio by Edo people, by the grace of God, we will realize it. We will actualize it, and Edo people will be happy that their votes count. It's so disturbing when some persons, for instance, had to tell me, Matthew, I flew all the way to Nigeria to cast my vote. I mobilized people. Results were counted in our units, and PDP won overwhelmingly. Now another thing is being announced. That cannot be in Nigeria at this time of our democracy. From 1999 till now is about 25 years. Our democracy should be strengthened through proper democratic practices. Our people will not be intimidated into accepting anybody that we did not vote for to be our leader. We will continue to respect the rule of law, follow it. All the things being peddled by the APC, especially by their chairman. For instance, I saw a write-up where they said, myself, we do Ikwerre Matthew, that I carried some beavers machine. They even said they saw buses from government house bringing beavers machine. These are the things that are exclusively within the lock and key of INEC. If anything happens to the beavers machine, it's only the INEC people that can take responsibility for it. Except on the field, on the day of election, I have not seen a beavers machine. I don't know how it is. I don't know how it operates. So the rate at which they lie, they don't even think about it. They say the lies with so much ease because that is part of them. It shows very, very strong desperation. If not, why will anybody attempt to slap a senior advocate of Nigeria who went to INEC just in obedience to a valid court order? Or take the telephone of a lawyer and smash it on the ground inside INEC. That's why I keep saying that there's a collusion with INEC. Because INEC ought to provide security. Inspecting the election materials is not new. I went to the tribunal recently. A lot of people have been to the tribunal. Those are exercises that are seamless. And then we are seeing a chairman of a political party coming to say, we have stalled it. And finding embers of war, telling people when you see any vehicle here on so and so, they stone them, do those kind of things. And the police and the security agencies do not even call him to order. And then they act the kind of drama they acted at the airport the other day. Oh, somebody was shot. Whereas the evidence abounds as to how the people they took to Ikwerre was robbing the POS operators and stealing from everybody in that area while they were firing guns. For goodness sake, we live in a sane society. We live in a decent society. Adult people are sane and decent people. And sane and decent people we will remain. And by the grace of God, we trust and believe in our judiciary that at the appropriate time, justice will be served accordingly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. I'm sure that this will be the end of the press conference. I'm sure we have been fair enough, and like today I said, the chairman and the DG has fed us, and we are fed up. But in this case, I'm sure we are not fed up because we keep feeding you already. We go through like the chairman said. Thank you for your time once again. We appreciate you. Except you have questions, yes. Ask a few questions from press.
Sorry, Chairman, sir. You didn't tell us the update from the INEC office as regards the inspection of materials. The inspection of materials. probably the entire week was all about APC stalling so that the PDP does not meet the deadline. So where do we stand as regards the inspection? Was it inspected eventually? Is it ongoing? What's the story with the inspection of election materials?
Well, like I said, you heard when the APC chairman said that they have stalled the process. So the process of inspecting those materials is ongoing, and the lawyers know what to do, and I know that they can only prevent it, but they cannot stop it because there's a valid cause of that. But the good thing is that we have filed our petitions before the tribunal, and we take it up from there. We are not judges, and we are not lawyers. So that is now the duty and responsibility of the legal team and the tribunal to handle. But as at today, like the APC chairman rightly said, they stalled the process and they would not allow the inspection of those materials. But thank God too that even in the collusion, INEC had to even issue a statement that all those allegations made by the APC state chairman were completely baseless. I saw a copy of that.
Well, just to tell you how different we are, the PDP and the APC. We anticipated that they would behave that way, and that was why we didn't place too much emphasis, too much premise on what we see with inspecting those materials. Do we want to inspect those materials? Of course we want to inspect them. But our petition wasn't solely or wasn't based solidly alone on what we find at the INEC. So we got the way we wanted them. The emphasis was on inspecting those materials while we were doing what we were doing, like getting our papers ready to be filed. As at when we filed, as at when it was due to file. That was why they were mad when they heard that we filed, because they got themselves to the tribunal on Saturday and we shouted, when did they file? We will always be ahead of them by the grace of God. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. They will remain mad. I know you will not say amen, but the chairman said they were mad, and I'm saying they will remain mad. Amen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How are you?
From 43.
They said the man had been late.
I was just yesterday.
I'll invite you special.
Blessing to us. Come on to work, you know, block me allow.
My brother, come on.